So here in the book of Genesis, as we'll be going back and forth, you will see in that chapter 3 of Genesis, which I might begin with, I'll read, and then along the way I will pray today that God will bring understanding or illumination to our spirit beings, to our spirit man or spirit woman on the inside of us. You and I will sort of travel in that chapter 3 of the book of Genesis. That is another gospel to me, the gospel of Genesis. And it says here in chapter 3 from verse 1, this is where the disastrous collapse of mankind really came up to. When this the enemy of God, Satan, came in the form of enlightened one. You know, when you hear about the Illuminatis or Illuminaries and all of these, like what happened in around the 15th, 16th, 17th centuries in Europe, when a group of God haters, some of them were, a lot of them were, stood up and said they were illuminated, and they started formulating all kinds of theories, hypotheses about the existence of man. Where did man come from? Of course, we came all the way to Charles Darwin, who was a Bible student, who was supposed to be a theologian, and because one of his children, I think his daughter, died prematurely, and the man was so hurt and so offended, he turned against God and traveled from England and came to South America, and from there he started writing some of the theses about the beginning of life, or the theory about the species. And it's later on to even all our 21st century generation about the evolution theory of Charles Darwin. And Darwin, who was trained to be a servant of God, a theologian, a Bible scholar, if you like, turned to become the enemy of God, and formulated the fact that, you know, the life of a creature, of course, one cellular being developed, mutated, or evolved, and then came to all the multi-cellular creatures that we have, that man evolved little by little from one cellular creature like amoeba or hydra and all of that, you know, to other creatures and to monkeys, baboons, and chimpanzees, and then later on man evolved to be man. But you know what? We have lived, you know, for thousands of years now, and I've not seen the evolvement or the evolution of another monkey into a human being. We keep on seeing human being producing human being. Why? Because God, in the book of Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, He made us to understand that every creature produces after its own likeness, after its own kind. So monkeys can only produce monkeys, snakes produce snakes, unless if there is some kind of genetic manipulation. Scientists are doing now, cloning things here and there, and cloning animals, and now they are cloning human beings, and all of it. If there's any outside force that manipulates or alters something, then now possibly it can evolve to what the devil wants mankind to believe to be. But mankind only produces after mankind. Human beings produce after human beings. Why? Because we are created originally in the image of God, in the likeness of God, in the resemblance of God. And God, again, is not, I'm not saying that God is a human flesh like you and I with blood and skin and all. No, God is spirit, and He has his own spirit body, and He has His own soul. So man is created in the spirit realm to be like God. That's why we have so much of ingenuity that other creatures like monkeys and elephants and rhinoceros and the rest of them don't have. You know, see how man is traveling to space. Man is doing a lot of marvelous things. Why? Because of that divine nature of God is imparted in us. Hallelujah.